So BTC trading at 70,500. It's had a small little pump here and a little rejection. Now, can we trust this pump? What do we need to do with these altcoins? Some of these setups I gave you guys yesterday have hit. You probably have a couple of entries playing out. What are we going to do? How are we going to deal with it? So we're going to talk about that in detail. We got a lot going on here because I've got a special guest as well. He's bringing some special alpha for us, and lots going on today, guys. It's Friday. Let's get right into this. And remember, as always, hit that like, hit the bell, hit the subscribe. And Ray is here, and it's Friday, and we had to go the rainbow situation. Ray, is my sound a little bit wrecked at the moment? It's sounding a bit special. Can you hear me? Okay.
No, I hear you nice and clear. You're good, sir.
Oh, are we good? Are we good? Are we good? Okay. And then our special guest, 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢𝗪. For those of you guys that don't know him, well, you should. He's the man. Okay, he knows everything about everything. He brought us WIF. He brought us WIF early days. What's happening?
And Popcat, super early too.
And Popcat, it's one of my favorites. You know, I'm launching this Popcat thing called a pussy bot, and it's only trading Popcat and you, the cats.
Oh, sick!
For the cats.
It's a trading bot, like a bonk bot.
Coming soon. Well, it's a detail will come, but it's coming. I'm calling it the pussy bot. It's on its way. Okay, guys, let's talk banter bubbles. I'm going to leave Kyle here. He's not really a big TA guy, but he's an alpha guy. So we're going to leave him here. We're going to talk through a couple of things and jump in whenever you want, Kyle. Banter bubbles. Look at this IMX. Absolutely shat the bed. So I've quickly ripped out the IMX chart so we can talk about that. Apparently, they got a Wells notice, so a little bit of trouble there. Radium, it's up 8%. And the rest looks a little bit messy now. So we've had 2-3 days of bleed out. We've had a short little pump now. And now the market needs to decide what is going to happen. So let's take a look at
I do think IMX deserves a round of applause. I think, like, what I tell founders is if you shouldn't really care about the SEC until you get a Wells notice, and then but then because if you don't get a Wells notice, that means you're not big enough for them to care about you at all, right? So you haven't made it yet. So IMX, congratulations!
Okay, well done. You're on the board. They're on the leaderboard. Okay, so I've got that IMX chart because I suspect we're going to get a bounce long on that thing. So we're going to deal with it in a second. I wore the deep V recovery because I know Kyle also likes the deep V recovery, and he didn't wear the deep V recovery. And you can see now it's failing. Our deep V recovery is actually reversing. So. It's deep. It's not deep enough, bro. But I put the white hat on because I'm feeling bearish today. And look, true to form. Bull cap, bear cap, it's all going down. So just talk through BTC quickly here, guys. You can see what's happened on the 4 hour. We've had a beautiful little pump now off one of our hot zones. It was the 69,500 region where they sweated us. They put us under pressure there yesterday. Nice little pump today. Look at this hammer rejection here. On the anchored VWAP, we've got the 236, previous 236 support. We got trend, major rejection zone, major resistance band. And that is why the tile says, should we be selling this pump? Okay, so we're going to talk about some of these alts now and see what's going on. But BTC, for me, if you're sitting in BTC where we are right now, you want to hold these lows, or at least you want to print a higher low. So for me, 69.5, that sort of area. Let's watch this region. Maybe we get away with some kind of bounce off that region. So 69,500, eyes on that now after this monster rejection, but it's looking pretty ugly. And if they start sweating us lower, guys, 68,500, that's got to be your next zone. That's a beautiful little 618 tie in there for us. Looking for action there. And then I do have some anchored VWAP action a little bit lower, around 67K. So to the downside, let's see how this plays out now during the weekend. We've had the S&P turning nice and green, so maybe they can close out stronger for us later, and then we're going to get a little bit of action there. So let's take a look at what is cooking. So this is always the eternal question, isn't it? Do you buy it now and watch it drop, or do you don't buy it and watch it take off? Does that ever happen to you? It feels like it happens to me all the time.
Too often, unfortunately. But I think that's the market. I mean, always every day you can feel like that. You know, it's that's the way. Yeah, it goes.
It's a rough one, guys. But we all feel like that, and it's from everything, from leverage trades to these meme coins, everything. It's the ones you don't buy, you know, that start sending off. So I just got a little bit of bull source for anybody feeling a little bit depressed yet.
Or the worst is when you sell. The worst is when you have something super low, like I gave people PopCat. I got in so low. I think it was like 15, 20 mil. Told my community to buy it. A while back, I thought, this is so dumb, so stupid. I sold the whole position like a month or two later. It was down. It was like so low. And now it's just a massive rocket afterwards, right? Never sell your whole bag, right? Like that. I think that's the, even if you think it's done, like that was a huge mistake.
Yeah, you got to keep the filth. Even if you think it's filth, leave the filth in there, because sometimes they're going to come out of nowhere. These guys love these memes that got dumped and sent to zero and everybody forgot about them, and then they appear again. What do you think about this chart here, Kyle? September, every time we've had a green September and a green October, we've been cooking, okay, for the rest of the year. So things are looking good statistically, I think, for November, December. Elections, you think they're going to play a big part now, Tuesday, Wednesday coming up?
Well, I think another thing to observe here is I believe that every single time we've had an election year, let's see, 2016, 2016, 2020, and 2024, does it go back to 12? It does not. But 2016, you can see on the chart here, all the way from September, October, November, December, bam, just bullish. And then 2020 election year as well, October, November, December, bullish. So historically, during a halving year, during a presidential election year, we always have these kind of rallies immediately after elections. Plus, like,
so
macro environment.
A little bit of pressure now. I mean, we saw a bit of a sell-off now leading into the election, so that's quite interesting. But Ryan Detrick tells us these next 3 months are the best 3 months of the year for stocks. Okay, look at that. Okay, so positive sentiment in the S&P could be helping us as well. And then the 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗪𝗓 letter, if anybody's feeling confused with the macro situation and what is going on out there, stocks are falling like the economy is bracing for a recession. Oil prices are rising like the recession was cancelled. Gold prices are falling like inflation is gone. I see the gold is finally falling over. Bonds are falling like inflation has rebounded. Does anyone know what the fuck's going on anymore? Or do we just look at the charts? I mean, what do you do in these situations? Do you actually pay attention to the S&P? I mean,
no, for me, I don't pay attention at all to the charts. I pay attention to macro, like when BlackRock is buying, like their life depends on it, and like, come on, it's like you they're going to buy in perpetuity. You haven't even had like the other countries come in big yet. You haven't even had like China, which inevitably probably will come in. I think it's just like, and that's, I know we're going to get into altcoins, but like, I think before we go into altcoins, we should talk about Bitcoin a little bit, because I think that people are insanely underexposed to Bitcoin, right? Everyone says, most KOLs, YouTubers, blah, 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 will say, in alt seasons are where it's at, right? Because historically, while we have alt seasons, they've always outperformed Bitcoin. Now, I think that's likely, maybe true again, but like, I also think there's another case where all of a sudden everyone comes in. China comes in, Middle East comes in publicly, BRICS adopts Bitcoin. They've been buying the whole time. Maybe they are Mr. 100, who knows, right? And then all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, fuck, this is actually the world reserve currency. And everyone just goes and FOMOs into Bitcoin, and there's none left. No one will sell it, right? So true supply shock comes in, and it just like Bitcoin's going up 20% a day for months on end, it's super cycle, and it just sucks all liquidity out of the entire altcoin market.
You're sounding pretty bullish.
I mean, on Bitcoin, I am. I have been since 2012.
Let's fucking go.
The
man likes his BTC. He likes it.
I can buy more. I can buy more and more and more. Do the same kind of like strategy as Michael Saylor with using Aave to leverage and loop and buy more and more and more, and then I'll pay it off when Bitcoin 2 or 3x's. But I just think I just want to say that, because I do think that people are underexposed Bitcoin, and I think if you don't have it yet, guys, when your alts pump and you take profits, like take profits into Bitcoin, right? Like maybe take half of it into Bitcoin, take the other half to reinvest. But I think that,
put it in your ledger. He says, stick it in your ledger,
dude. Ledger, if you're listening, listen to this story. So Ledger wanted to send me, because I've always used Trezor. So Ledger wanted me to use to try them out. They sent me this Bitcoin edition Ledger, the special edition one.
Bro, we've got lots of those. Look, I've got one.
But bro, careful with that shit. Careful.
Yeah, I like Ledger. This is my small package. This is my little package.
So when I went, I received it. I had to go to like Dubai or something the next day. I came back, and the fucking thing exploded on my desk, dude. The battery, And I had a friend that was visiting, who was an engineer, and said, Kyle, if the back of this thing didn't blow off, it would have caught fire and your whole house would have burnt out. Like, but right. Ledger.
It's a battery. It's not a ledger, bro. It's a battery. Come on. Okay, let's go. BTC chart. Okay, let's take a look at the situation. So this is what I'll be talking about on the 3-day. And we've actually just pinged our first line of major support on the daily. So like I was saying on my show in the last couple of days, everything in between these big levels is actually just a little bit of noise. We need to zoom out and just be okay with where this thing can settle down. So big time on the 3-day, 68,700. Nice little level here for us. Nice little ping. And what we wanted to see, we just want to make sure we are holding our rising trend. So right now, the rising trend looking good. Okay, as long as we're holding that trend, we can stay a little bit bullish. When does it get a little bit scary for us? When we start losing these trends, then we start talking 60K, and we can't take it off the table. It doesn't matter what is going on out there with elections and all these types of things. These charts don't lie. And when they start losing these types of trends and these types of levels, then we turn a little bit more bearish. It could be for a week or 3, but we got to let these things play out. So you can see we've been churning up here on the 3-day, looking lovely. If we do start losing a little bit of steam, we're going to be sweating. We're going to be sweating. Yeah, it's a hot ledger. It's a very hot ledger. It's cooking. Okay. Let's go. Altcoins. We're going to talk altcoins. I want to cover a couple of setups. So here's my concern, Kyle, with these altcoins at the moment. You can see dominance is absolutely ripping. And I'm sure you've heard everybody talking about the 60% level on dominance. And these altcoins, this is the others chart, under severe pressure. Now, I keep saying we're on support. We can't panic yet, okay? But this is the same scenario here. If BTC starts losing that 3-day trend, I think these alts are going to start dipping lower, and then we're going to start feeling a deep burn that I don't think many people were expecting at this time of the cycle. Talk to me about BTC dominance and your thoughts on that.
So again, I'm not much of a TA guy, but I will tell you that in order for alts to rip, new money needs to come into the market, right? And people need to feel rich and they need to start building. So we need new retail to come in. Right now, the only new money coming into the market is literally BTC, right? Like that's it. So maybe as people get, maybe people get have some BTC, the price goes up a little bit. Maybe they rotate into some alts. But like what happens when you get something like a goat that comes along, or you get like the Lucy the other day, whatever, like a good indicator that there's no new liquidity in the market is when a new alt comes and rips, it sucks liquidity out of all the other alts and meme coins because there's no new capital coming in. And so I really don't think that we have new alts ripping until January. Just historically, if I'm looking on the macro timeline, the prior market cycles was January, right? Like I remember for Paid Network, we were trying to raise money in December of 2020. No one wanted to give us any money. And then come mid-January, everybody wanted to give us money. And then you had just these massive rips and secondary market was cooking. It was definitely alt season, and that lasted till November, right? And so you had 11 months starting 2021. I think it's going to be similar this time. I think it's going to be January until November or something like that. We'll have alt season. So
yeah. And earlier this year, we had a nice run. Well, the run actually started October, November. Then we had a little bit pullback. But then I think January to March, it really started ripping. So it's something to look forward to from that front. But this dominance for me, it's on everybody's radar. This dominance at the 60.4% region. We are nearly there. And for me, we do get an alt breather when we get a rejection in the zone. But it's a big danger zone for us here if we start popping through this area. So my concern is, okay, Bitcoin starts losing a couple of levels here in the next 2 weeks, and then dominance just starts absolutely ripping and these alts start dumping. So that is something I'm a little bit concerned about, because then we start attacking the next resistance band, So yeah, one eye on dominance, everybody, at the moment. It's definitely something we need to watch. I see here, Ben Cowan was calling 60% as well, 60.4 give or take, if I'm not mistaken. Can it go higher? Yes. Look at these candles. 72. Could be spicy. Okay, we don't want to deal with that just yet. We don't want to kill ourselves just yet. Now, I want to talk to Kyle about ETH as well, because I'm such a fucking ETH bro at the moment, and it's wrecking me. It's killing me. And I see Ben Cowan, and he's super bearish on ETH here. Look at this tweet. He says, this post from August still tracking perfectly for ETH. So far, every green candle in 2016 was green in 24. Every red in 2016, red in 24. And he says he mentioned in August that September could be green for ETH, then October, December red. Now look at his chart. he's basically sending us to zero. Any ETH bros? Do you still have ETH? Do you still trade this thing?
No, for like I use my blue chips that I'm super bullish on. I use things like Aave to collateralize them, so I can have extra exposure to the markets without using futures exchanges. So I have like a pretty significant size allocation to ETH and Link, which they both aren't doing anything right now. And I wish that I had the ability. I mean, on the flip side, at least I've leveraged that and used it to buy Bitcoin, which has been doing well. But man, like maybe something like, are you aware of Mega ETH? Do you know what Mega ETH is?
No.
It's funny, most people don't, and it's probably because like the best devs are just total devs, and all they do is dev. But Mega ETH is funded by Vitalik. You've got I think A16Z and Dragonfly and all those guys are in it. It's parallelization, like parallelized processing on ETH layer 2. So you're gonna have like finally something on ETH that feels like a Sui or like a Solana. It's super fast, super cheap. And maybe that brings some attention back to ETH. But like, I do think that I've said this for a long time that I don't think the smart contract. I think that Bitcoin as a world reserve, as a store of value, is cemented, right? That's cemented, done. But I don't think ETH has cemented its spot as a smart contract layer because, it was just the first thing there, but it's not the best thing, and competition has heated up a lot. And Solana's great, and then these things like Sui and Aptos were built, with $1 billion of R&D from Zuck and Meta, like who wanted to put out DM, and like that's real good technology, and it's more secure than Solidity, and Ethereum is Solidity, right? And you're kind of like trying to mend together things, like putting more shitty layers on top of shitty layers to try to make something that's better. That's just not as good as these other things, right? And maybe it's more secure, but I don't know, man.
I'm going to zero. Thanks for confirming that I'm going to zero. Then at the same time, Ben Cowan sending us to zero. We got Ali Charts telling us it's printed a buy signal. So, different views out there. For me, Kyle, ETH BTC, this was my last gasp attempt. I was getting so desperate, I started drawing this lower trend line here, trying to get it to bounce. I keep blowing on my screen. I just want this thing to go a little bit higher.
You don't control the markets, right? With your little lines.
I'm blowing on the screen all the time. It's not fucking doing it, right? It's a problem.
I hear you.
So I'm under pressure, okay? I'm under pressure here on ETH, okay? But I'm losing my conviction. I keep telling Ray, stop making me trade this thing, but I'm still sitting in it. So let's just take a look at the ETH chart. Let's just see where we are. Right. Apologies. Okay, so this is the ETH level before hell. Okay, before hell comes 2,480. This is our guy. Okay, this is ETH back to our 618 play. You can see we got our rising trended play. So ETH, I'm sitting in this ETH trade. If we start closing now under this trend, yes, I'm going to start cutting this thing because we're most likely going to see ETH at this 2,200 level. So no changes here for me, but it's also, it's a very slow mover. When the market pumps, ETH does like a few percent, but then everything else does like 10. So it's a pretty frustrating trade. You need to take on quite a big size. Let's talk about your other favorite thing, Solana. I do believe you like a bit of Sol, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I mean, Sol's something that earned my respect. I'm not like I'm not a Sol maxi like everybody else. Like that loves Sol. I used to talk a lot of shit about Sol when it was going down all the time. It seemed very centralized. It was breaking. It seemed like, because it seems like anyone can build something cheap and fast that's centralized, right? And so I was just like, yeah, this is dumb. Like it's but now, they had battle scars. They went through the FTX thing with Sam and people selling off and resilience, very resilient. And they keep deving and very determined, I think, to build something special. So definitely earned my respect. But I'm not a Sol maxi like most other people. I do think that, like I said, the race for supremacy in the smart contract layer 1 is still up for grabs. And we don't know yet what it will be.
So just to pick up on soul levels for everybody, we back in our zone that we've been watching for a while here. So if you were ever looking to accumulate some soul, this is soul on the daily. We are back in the hot zone here. So 164 to 160 for me. That is your big zone number one for soul. And then no changes here for me. 151, that type of region, that is where I'm adding to my soul position. Okay, so I'm making the assumption that it's going to hold the trend and then push higher. Naturally, we could be wrong and we lose trends, then we deal with it then. But for me, there's big levels here for soul. 164 to 160, big level. 152 to 150, big level. And we've got a lot of armory here. We got the 50-day MA, 200-day, 100-day VWAPs, trend, horizontals. It's a massive level on the charts, but apparently our lines don't control the market. But maybe Kyle doesn't watch enough then he wouldn't know, because he hasn't watched some of these banging entries. Okay, let's talk some of these. Am I wrong? Okay, let's go RUNE. So yesterday we looked at RUNE. We looked at a couple levels on RUNE and we dipped into zone number 2. Now with this latest BTC pump and dump, you can see there's a little bit of a problem here on RUNE. We've bounced on 5.48. That is our support for now. So absolutely no changes here. If you got this RUNE position, 5.48, that is what you're using as your support level. Is if there is another sweat out today, 5.28. But right now for me, we want to see this push higher. But this Bitcoin rejection, I mean, this was pretty brutal. Okay, I mean, that's pretty severe what they've just done there. So proper little flush out there for everybody, and expected that these altcoins would go south with it. And this was a trade that we took earlier today. So I jumped on that RUNE position, okay, on these lows. And the only way to jump in after you've grabbed your entry on the lows is to catch that trend break and retest. If you want to add on to the position, or if you've missed that buy, then your best buy is going to be on the retest of trend. So looking at that situation, we can zoom in to RUNE, and you can see this thing's done a full reset. So if you bought on those lows from yesterday, if we bought in that region, we've now done a full round trip on RUNE. This is your support you want to watch. So if this thing is going to bounce, this is your zone. This is the 5.5 zone. You want to see that thing hold. If you want to give it a crack, your target, 5.998. That is going to be your upside target there for RUNE, and pretty easy exit plan here. It's going to be any candle close under these hour lows. So let's just highlight this one. Any candle close under 5.466. So if you start shutting down under there, then you know, okay, you're going to jump out. Limit excess, Kyle doesn't know. He doesn't know that these charts and the lines control the market. You got to know.
I like this chart for RUNE, actually. But do people use RUNE, though? That's the question.
I use it to make money. It's a money printer.
Yeah. Well, okay. Hey, so someone asked about Link. Can you pull up the Link chart? Because I'm curious if I should swap out my Link for BTC, maybe. And yeah. Let's look
got
at
a link. I'm just going to find the correct one here. I've got one here. Link had quite a big pump today as well. I was going to make sure I got the right one. Well, I mean, in terms of altcoin, now remember, we're watching low time frames. So for us, having a pump on Link is like, a couple of percent. Okay, here's Link on the 4 hours. So
11:20.
Yeah, fucking 11. Degenerates. Leverage degenerates.
Kyle looks at these charts like once every few months. He doesn't understand. We're trading 4 hour, 1 hour. Look at this. Okay, so just an interesting note for everybody. Okay, we've got anchored VWAP in the way here. We got the 382, we got the resistance. At the exact same time, BTC pinged its resistance band. These altcoins did exactly the same thing. Look at that chop. Rinsage all day long. But Kyle, macro 11.2, you like it there? Do you like it at 10? Where do you like Link?
Okay, so someone said, Kyle talk about Link. Like, I think that there's one thing is I think Link and what Sergey is doing is really good as far as connecting chains and the future vision. But what I think that they're not doing well, and I've tried to get them to do, is more focus on community, right? And like, if you neglect your community, if you don't appreciate the people that are helping you build you up, then like they won't even, I've been for the longest time, and before Chainlink God doxed himself, I was the largest doxed Chainlink KOL, person who's an advocate for them. And I couldn't even get an interview with Sergey, right? Like forever. They even reached out and said, "Oh, Kyle, thank you for everything you've been doing." But, they won't let me help them, right? And so a lot of things that I don't like when projects do that. And of course, that maybe sounds selfish or whatever, but it's just, doesn't feel like they're thinking about how to take care of their community and people that are supporting them. And I think when you do that, then you really need actual real adoption for your token to pump, and not speculators, because if you don't take care of your people, no one will care about you, right? Best way to build a community is make a bunch of poor people rich, and people that already got rich off Link, maybe they don't care so much anymore, or they're speaking in an echo chamber. But like, as you notice, no one's really talking about them so much anymore these days, right? And then people talk about an inferior product like Pith, for example, because there's maybe it's some more in Solana or something. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on Link. I'm gonna have a little bit of a hate-love relationship with them right now.
Okay, so look, I mean, if we have to be totally honest with ourselves on the weekly chart on Link, there is still a possibility. If we get a Bitcoin dump here and that dominance rips, I mean, we got to be faced. Maybe the Link's going to come back 8.5 because we do have a big candle down here. So not to scare anybody, but I mean, there's a massive level here. So that is on the table, bigger picture, but smaller picture stuff, there's trades up and down, and you can see the chop, as you guys know. And I mean, Kyle might come back here in 2 months and Link is still trading at 11, but fuck me, have we had fun in between all of that with the low time frame trades. Okay, let's go Rune, we've covered. Let's go Sui. Let's talk Sui. Oh, this is an interesting one. This could be worth a little look here on Sui, guys. This is we back at our entry from earlier today. So if you want to be long Sui here, 1.925, that's this type of region here, could be taking out some of that liquidity there. So the game plan here for me, I gave you guys these levels yesterday, 1.925. Look for the bounce. I mean, how's that pump? How's that rejection into that band? And now we are retesting this support again. So it might be another ride up here. But Kyle is a macro man. He looks at the bigger picture. And what are you seeing in Sui here?
I like Sui. I think that they've done a really good job. And I think, because think about a U.S. company that has to be very careful of what they do. Their hands were tied and bound. And I think that they're trying to do what they can, being a U.S. company, to really get out there. I think the technology is impressive, really, really good. Using it is amazing. Like it's so fast, virtually free, and I'm working with one of the largest exchanges over on Sui, which is Bluefin. They're doing crazy volume. People didn't know. They've done like $35 billion in trading volume for launch. It's really off the field of the fact that it's you can do that because latency is so low on Sui that it just rocks. And so I like Sui, but it's so hard, right? It's so hard to get people to come over to your chain, right? I mean, Solana's done a phenomenal job at that. I think that they'll do good. What's
the meme situation like on Sui? Did it ever pick up? I mean, there were murmurs of it taking off, and I mean, I see everyone's back on Sol now. Is there traction there?
Yeah, there's some traction. There was a little bit of a bounce recently, but no, when everyone was talking about it like a month or two ago, you had like a little pump on most meme coins over there, and I think things are now below the price they were during that little hype cycle. And we've seen that before, with where other kind of people speculate on what's going to be the next L1 run. But, if you look back, I made a video on this a month ago or something. If you go back on Wayback Machine or something like that, and you look at, November 2017, November 2021, on the top 100, it was almost all L1s, like L1s are the play, and those ecosystems evolve. So people are speculating, L1s are the casinos, and, tokens there are the casino chips, essentially. So I think that it'll run. And I have quite a bit of exposure on the Sui ecosystem. And I just placed some bets because some of the things that seem like kind of dominant, just for fun, right? Like AAA Cat over there, it feels like PopCat to me. Like one of the real solid communities that are actually doing AMAs and Twitter Spaces and reaching out and persistent, been around for a while. Like to me, that I think it's like 11 million right now. So if that thing goes to whatever billion, it's like, what is it, 1000x? So I've taken a pretty substantial position over there. That's kind of what I'm doing.
So I've just taken a whiff long right now. It's my second whiff long of the day. Okay, I remember when you arrived on my show, you were wearing the hat and that market cap was tiny. So let me show you guys why I'm taking a whiff long for the second time today. We are back. Okay, we are back in the entry. So I gave this trade on Sniper Club earlier today. Now remember, it's very important. If you're not on Sniper Club, you're missing a bit of the action. I dropped an AVAX long and I dropped a WIF long this morning. But more importantly, that gives you a clue on our sentiment at the moment. That gives you a clue on when we're expecting a move on the market and things like that. So there were a lot of trades on offer this morning. I dropped 2 of them in Sniper Club. The first one that I dropped in there was WIF. And I mean, I know Kyle's history with WIF. He loves this thing. And I mean, are you still a fan? Or are we still going up, or are we going back to zero? Are we done?
You know, this is the thing about memes, and one of the biggest things that I have, issues with, like Murad's kind of thesis. I think I agree with a lot of things that he was saying about the meme coin super cycle, but I just don't hear anyone talking about WIF so much anymore, and it's hard to get the price to go up a lot when the market cap is already so high, right? And so meme coins are like they're casino chips, and it's high risk, high reward gambling, super high adrenaline, crazy volatility, not for the faint of heart. And so like if you wanted something that was maybe more stable, it's a Binance listing, has more liquidity, more trading volume, it's not going to be as volatile. But I wouldn't say that I would encourage a bunch of people to put a bunch of capital there and think they're going to make life-changing money anymore. It's just not really funny anymore either. Like I just don't see much people talk about it.
So, I mean, that's pretty volatile from a trading perspective that we're looking at. So I just want to clarify for everybody here. I've just opened this WIF one right now while we're sitting here again. This is my WIF take 2. Okay, so I dropped this WIF position in Sniper Club earlier this morning, and the reason being, we had various reasons why it was going to start turning and why I thought we were going to get a pump out of these altcoins. We've pinged our TP2 zone. Okay, big rejection there. That is why I closed it. We rejected on the 382 fib. So now we back in our entry. Now it's a little bit sketchy the second time, but we back in our entry box. We're holding the 200-day MA, the 50-day MA, the 786. This is a macro 382 pool. This is a massive 382 pool, and that also helped my decision making earlier this morning. So if we are going to move higher, that's great. Our support we're going to watch 2.224. So if you want to long this with me again for the second time today, let's see if we can get it up to some higher levels. So our first level again is going to be the same as earlier, 2.36, looking for that, and then 2.43, looking for that, and then upside 2.53. But the minute this thing starts moving, you just want to bring your stop to entry. Just make sure you are safe and out of risk, and then enjoy it if it starts moving higher. But I mean, it's brutal what's going on here. I mean, these charts, bro, look at this, pump, dump, straight back into the box. So WIF could be something for you guys. Then another trade I dropped in Sniper Club earlier today was AVAX. Okay, so we had our nice little pump. I gave a couple of TPs, and very important to note here, we were talking about a short-term move in the market, looking for maybe bigger, longer-term downside. So we gave very tight TPs here, and AVAX, nice little bounce, massive anchored VWAP here, 786 in play, horizontals, nice little pump. We pumped through our TP1, and we didn't quite make our TP2. Now we are back in our entry box. So if you want to have a go here for AVAX, anything from 24.8 down to, if you can keep it as low as possible, 24.55, that type of region there could be another opportunity there for AVAX. So very choppy at the moment. Remember, the minute we get some energy in the market, just tighten up your stop and de-risk as quickly as you can. And if there ever was a perfect example of volatility, it's this one, and it's this WIF token. I mean, straight up, straight back down. Okay, so you guys understand the risk, but there's 2 trades there for you guys. Now, talk to me about Murad. Did he come out of nowhere? What happened? I wasn't really tracking too many things. Tell me the story, please.
Yeah, I also don't I also, the first time I exchanged a couple of messages with him, but I wasn't really sure he was before this kind of, I don't remember what it was, the context exactly. It was, I think he messaged reference with an old employee or something. But anyway, did come out of nowhere, but he just knocked it out the park with a presentation that went viral. And it was, about this hypothesis. And, he made it sound like the only thing that we should be betting on from an investment perspective and not trading was meme coins, right? And he thinks they're going to outperform everything by far. And the underlying thesis there isn't because meme coins, it's just because of the way that they're designed and constructed. It's the way that you give a fair and open entry to retail. A bunch of people can get in, and when they start to do well, a bunch of poor people get rich, and so they work for their bags. They become cult-like communities, and that's what drives price up. It's like the 2017 ICOs all over again, right? And so, but you can, like, every argument he makes pretty much in that entire presentation, you can just swap out meme coin for cult-like community, right? And so the question is, how do you build cult-like communities? And the answer is giving them a chance to get into the project very, very cheap, and give them something they can believe in, right? A narrative that they can gather around it. Now, I want to ask you a question, Dylan, because I'm curious. So, if you had two bags or something, they're two biggest bags, right? And one of them is a meme coin, let's say it was Retardio or something, and then the other one was like, Sweet or something, right? Like, and then you wanted, now crypto's cranking, and you want to go to your relatives who maybe have some money or a good friend or something like that. But they're not on crypto Twitter, right? Do you think that they would feel comfortable putting their hard-earned cash into something called Retardio, or would they feel comfortable putting it into something like Sui or something where you can say, it's like the next Solana or ETH or whatever? Like, where are they going to put their capital?
Retardio, of course. Yeah, I mean, you can't explain that shit. You can't explain that to somebody. They just won't get it. They just won't get it.
They won't get it. And that's what I'm wondering. So what we need is we need a way to build these cult-like communities, from early on. Like the ICO days were great. They sold, back in 2017, the average public sale size was 55% of supply went to public, right? And they would raise a bunch of money at, sub $50 million FDV, but Ethereum was like 24, Cardano was like 36. They gave low FDVs for people to get in. And so that's what I propose that we do going forward, right? And I don't know if it's a good time to chat about paid or whatever, but
let's talk about it. So you've made some changes at paid. Let's get this thing up here.
So Sergio, this is exactly right? The comment that's on the screen. Retail is not going to care about tech anymore. I wish they would, but the reality is that memes are the way. So now the thing is that the only reason that memes are the way is because retail, everyone watching this, is sick of VCs getting the best entry point, many multiples cheaper than retail getting the last valuation round, right? So your typical staggered round is let's say a project raises a $20 million seed, a $40 million private round, then there's a $60 million whatever, and then they go public at 80 or whatever. That's not even extreme. And they have no basis of an $80 million valuation either, by the way. They have no mainnet, no product, no revenue, no real users. All they've done is farmed airdrops and blah, blah, blah. So it's this fake vaporware piece of crap product that they're going and telling the retail investors they're launching at 80 mil, but then they get all the KOLs and influencers to go say, this is the best thing since sliced bread. And so then everybody goes and buys this thing at 100 mil, 120 mil in the market. And then all the VCs sell and they get wrecked, right? And that's the worst way to try to build a community. You just offended a bunch of people because you lost the money, right? You made them believe to buy something and you stabbed them in the back. You sold on them. I mean, the team does this too oftentimes, right? The team gives their tokens to market makers, and the market makers and exchanges dump on everyone on listing. Retail gets wrecked. Retail is sick of getting wrecked. And so what I proposed, because I want to see communities being built around real tech, right? And as Murad calls them, tech alts, right? And so I believe that everything he said is true. If people haven't watched it, it's really good. I suggest that you go watch it. But we need to build cult-like communities because cult-like communities help projects propagate messages more than KOLs, more than everything else. The most important thing for a token is the cult-like community. So what we're doing now on Paid Network, which is our launchpad, is I wanted to figure out how do we make things better moving forward? How do we make tech alts great again? And so I started talking to founders and said, guys, aren't you worried that you're not going to be able to, play the attention economy game because you have to play against meme coins? And yeah, everyone's really terrified around that. So can you hear me?
Yeah. So, I mean, guys, if you want to hear a little bit more about it, Kyle dropped a nice little video here for you guys. And just follow it there on Paid Network. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I just saw some headphones connected.
So, yeah, you can follow Paid. You can see an explanation. There he is, dropping some alpha there about Paid Network and the changes. I'm guessing this is where you explain everything, Kyle.
Yeah, so quick, I'll just give you a quick example. So this one, Blast Royale, has all the best VCs in it, like Dragonfly, Mechanism, Animoca, Play Ventures. Awesome. So the nice thing is like, unlike meme coin, you have Docs founders here, a real game with real users, 1 million downloads between the app stores. You've got tens of thousands of daily active players, and the first VC round was a $34 million valuation. The second one was 48, and the LCO, which we're calling a low FTV community offering, is at $10 million valuation, right? And they're selling 25% of the token supply. This is fantastic, right? This is a way to get tens of thousands of people to come in, because the thing here is that if this thing goes to what, Illuvium did last cycle, that's 2,400x, right? So your $100 allocation turns into 240,000. Or if it does something that XRP, or sorry, that Axie does, that turns into almost $500,000, $100 ticket, right? So this is like a real way to get people to believe, because they need to believe in something. And it doesn't matter. Like Murad says, people aren't in meme coins for the memes. They're not in tech alts for the tech. They're here for the token and the community and something to believe in. And so this is, if we can build a community and they can work together to get behind something, I think this is one of the best ways for people to make money in the market this cycle, is to do these LCOs, because it's such asymmetric bets, right? You have a low risk because you're only putting like $100 in, $200 in, and high potential upside, and you're getting in with thousands or tens of thousands of people that are going to rally behind one thing together. And that's exactly what a meme coin is like. So we're bringing meme coin back medic value and tokenized cult communities to tech alts.
Okay. So guys, there you go. If you want to find out more, you can follow them on Twitter. It's Paid Network. There you go. And there's a little video explanation of everything for you guys. So take a look. I want to talk about IMX. I want to talk about RWeave. I want to talk about PopCat, and I want to talk about some memes that you are playing in at the moment. So let's just deal with IMX, because we did see that thing was completely falling over. So as you heard earlier, there was a Wells notice issued for IMX. Okay, so IMX has received a Wells notice from the SEC regarding IMX token sales. Again, like Carl was saying, now they, it's a round of applause to them for being so big, I suppose, and they actually made it. It's like a gold medal at the crypto Olympics, basically, to get your Wells notice, but it's not good for your price action. Looks like absolute shit at the moment. So proper wipeout here for IMX, but I suspect we're going to get a bounce here. We're going to get an opportunity here for you guys. 1.11. I think there's a long coming. IMX. Okay. 1.11. Be patient. We're a little bit high at the moment. 1.11 could give you something. Alternatively, they're going to come and wipe this wick out. But I suspect we get a bounce first and then they send it down. So looking for something like that on IMX. 1.11. Watch that zone. Could be a nice little play there. A little bit degen, but could be a banger for you guys. And then RWeave also looks like absolute dog shit at the moment. What do you know about RWeave?
Man, it's permanent storage on chain, but it's a very dev heavy project that, again, if you forget to build community and no one cares about you, then it's going to be hard to keep up. So yeah, I think they're going to start caring at about 13.48, give or take. Call it 13.5. I think I'm going to start caring about RWeave again. So I'm just being a little bit patient. Right now, RWeave is 15.4. 13.5. That's where I really start caring. Ray, do you care about RWeave at 13.5? Does it excite you?
Yes, it does.
Bullish?
Yes, it does.
Bullish on RWeave.
Yes.
Okay, so guys, there's an entry there for you as well. Remember, Sniper Club members, you're going to get all these charts in the Discord straight after. Ray drops them in there. So straight after the show, Ray gets all these charts in there for you guys. So you'll see that one. Then let's talk poppies and the ZoomX competition ticking along nicely now. You can see we've got 82 participants. That prize pool is growing. And look at the top four here. Number 1 is C-Bros. Number 2 is That Pussy Is Hot. Number 3 is Pussy Coming In Hot. Number 4 is PopCat Is a Good Kitty. Am I the only one with manners? My one is PopCat Is a Good Kitty. Okay. And I've been just trading PopCat for the ZoomX competition. And it's been pretty volatile, but I'm still following the exact same process that I've been telling you guys. So I've been buying PopCat on all these key levels. So I just want to remind you the strategy that I've employed here on PopCat. And so far, it seems to be working quite nicely. So when we hit our top, we fell over. I bought on the 236 fib. I bought on the 382 fib. And then I bought on the 0.5 fib. So far, so good. So I've just been laddering into this thing, obviously looking for that slingshot. So now I've added a little bit more now on this retest that we've just had on PopCat. You can see I've got the anchored VWAP coming into play here as well, and hoping if we get a little bouncy out the market, then we start getting our move on PopCat further up. So watching that one closely. If you've been playing the strategy with me, you are definitely up here. Or worst case, you are now break even. Now we want to see this thing start sending, and our positions are obviously a lot bigger than they were when we started buying originally at those higher levels. So that is my strategy on PopCat, and purely because of the volatility. So I went 6 or 7x on this thing. I set up limit orders on all the key levels. My bias was that this thing would eventually turn up to the upside. If you have a bullish bias, then this works for you. If you don't have a bullish bias, well, then you need to be a little bit more careful. So my strategy was buy on these levels, build up a little bit of a size, and then send it higher. So let's see how we go. So far, so good. It seems to be going okay. Talk to me about PopCat, please, sir. Are you still, yeah, you must have a little bit of poppies.
Yeah. I know I did. I bought back higher, and
yes, you do.
Yeah. And it's been ripping, and I think it's going to continue to rip. I think it's going to be, it's clearly the cat cycle, the cat of the cycle. And yeah, I'm not going to make life-changing gains for me on it, but I guess if it does, even if it doesn't, if it does 100x from here, yeah, cool. But that's why I think AAA on SWE is a good kind of second bet to that. Still early, but I like PopCat. I think it's one that I think if I had to choose PopCat or whiff right now, I'd probably choose PopCat. I just think there's more momentum, more interest. Yeah.
Same with me. PopCat and Mew, they seem to be some of the best performers here relative to others. Like Bonk seems to have faded a bit. Whiff seems to have faded a bit. Some of the other bangers from a few months back, they aren't as popular at the moment. So, okay, what DGen plays do you have at the moment? When do we go deep and dark into things like deck screener, that type of filth level? What do you have? Anything fun?
Do you want me? Yeah.
Anything fun?
So really like, okay, well, I'll tell you, here, I'll copy this contract into here. You can look at it. This is going to be like something that I have concerns about, but like, this is super degenerate, right? And it all depends on a bunch of devs learning like how to do proper marketing, or either getting their AIs to do a better job than they can, because historically they've just been really terrible at it. And
you dropped the TA for me somewhere
in the private chat here in the StreamYard.
Okay, hold on.
So this is called Reality Spiral, and it's really low liquidity, low FPV.
I find this on deck screen.
Like this is, I don't even think this is like, I shouldn't even probably talk about this on this. But I do think that the asymmetric bet, should it catch a bid, let me make that clear, that the upside is unbelievable potential. Because what this is actually a project that has built something like Truth Terminal, which was the whole Goatsy thing. And they're going to open this up where people can build their own AI agents. It's kind of like Virtuals, who had this huge run, right? I don't know if you've seen Virtual Luna or Virtuals, which was originally PathDAO. They rebranded to this AI agent platform.
Which one is it? Because I can't find our link in our private chat.
The first one, 644.
Is it on ETH? On ETH? Oh, okay. Okay, so Reality Spiral on ETH. Let's take a look here. Oh, this thing's quite small. Okay. RSP.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, yeah. And so... I know one of the team members on it. He told me about it, and I think what they're doing is real. It's legit, because I know they've been working on these AI agents for maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 months. And so it's something very similar to like Truth Terminal, and I think it's just going to take a little while for people to catch what they're doing, right? But because it's such a low market cap, I if I were to give financial advice, which I'm not supposed to be doing, but like, I would just say like put something small in here, right? Because the asymmetric bet is huge. So that's really all. It's real stuff behind that, right? Next, I'll say Pepe coin is going to be interesting, because if you're talking about
exchange, that's on the exchanges. I think we can get that one.
Yeah. So people want, okay. So like when it comes down to meme coin influencers, like Murad right now is the the number one guy out there. And I think that what he talked about is the way that attention is shifting from meme coins to like religions or cults or things for people to believe in. And this whole narrative is essentially something, there's already a huge community, right? This community has been around since 2016, right? Pepe coin was right after kind of Dogecoin. And then there was its own layer 1 blockchain called Memetic blockchain. And then it migrated to ETH, but it migrated to ETH, that someone front running them, right? And so this is the recovery story of something that, if people want to believe in, OGs having a phoenix of the ashes kind of thing, and the copycat going down in a pile of burning flames. Like, this is that story. And so I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but it's something fun to think about.
Okay, so 𝗙𝗢𝗟, yeah, we've had this one on the show before. It's I mean, it's a bit of a mover. I see there's been a bit of a pump lately. There's something going on here. Let's see, 68% up here. So yeah, 𝗙𝗢𝗟, you do have support here, 2.445. So I would say watch that level there. That could be nice. If it holds the support, then maybe we're going to see that 3.5 region. So 2.455, this whole zone here looks interesting. If we lose that zone, then it's dump time. Looks like that's not too bad. It's about a 10% dip to that 618. So 2.445. I kind of like that one. And XRP, it's a swear word on the show, but are we in agreement? Piece of shit.
Yeah, I don't even look at it ever.
Like, no, it's full. No, I don't. I'm just kidding. We don't need to talk about XRP.
Maybe it's great for range trading. It's nice and like relaxed.
No, it's not nice in any way. It's not nice in any way. It's not nice in any way. Okay, guys, look, that's a wrap actually from us. So we've covered. I think we've covered a couple of setups. So let's just confirm again where we are with BTC. So you guys have got entries here on WIF. Let's see if that holds. You've got a potential entry there on AVAX as well. Let's see Bitcoin. Okay, bouncing here at our 69,500. So you just want to see that level hold for you. Not sure what that mega dump was about. I mean, that was brutal. It was a proper sell-off there. So just, tighten up your stops if your altcoins start moving a little bit, and just hang in there, okay? At some point, you heard Uncle Kyle there. At some point, things are looking good. Long term, January. That's what he's calling for. So thanks for hanging on a Friday. I know you off to have some vacation time or something. And I see Aaron says, we fucking love Kyle. Let's go, bro. Okay, Kyle, thanks for hanging, bro.
Thank you, sir. Good night, everybody.
See you later, man. Okay, guys, be safe out there. I'm back on Sunday night. The regular slot for me is 7:30 p.m. my time. So that is 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, I believe, unless you guys are moving the clocks back. The Americans, you're doing something with the clocks, okay? But just remember, my normal slot is 7:30 my time, and I'm GMT +2. So I'll see you guys on Sunday. And whatever happens this weekend, we'll deal with it on Sunday, and we'll make sure you guys are teed up for the rest of the week. So we'll catch you guys later. Wrong one.
Fucking whiff almost wrecked me last night.